brilliant speed with vibrant service. Vibrant broadband internet.
Vibrant broadband internet, your internet providers. The show is all yours.
Here we are. Welcome to Vibrant You Live. My name is Shane.
I'm Jane.
And I'm Nathan.
And we've had a couple of recent shows where we talked about storing your photos in the cloud, then turning them into photo gifts like, wall hangings or put them on t-shirts and things like that. So last week I was working on a slideshow, a video for one of my daughters, and she turned 30. And I have three daughters, and when they were young, I would say 25, 26 years ago, I created video slideshows for each of them. They each have their own video slideshow, and there are 3 or 4 songs. I'll just pick some songs that we always liked and listened to that kind of mean something to them. And then I would scan their photos in, and I had a few digital photos back then, but mostly they were printed photos. And I'd put slideshows together, and of course they were, ages from 3 to, well, actually about 5 to down to 2 or whatever. And so I thought, I'm going to do one for each of them when they turn 30. So my oldest daughter turned 30 a couple of years ago. And then last week, my middle daughter turned 30. Mm-hmm. So I have thousands of photos. Of course, not all of them digital. And I was researching the best way to organize them so I could easily access those photos or the ones I needed for the slideshow. I wanted just the photos that included her. And so I thought, well, how am I going to do this? So that's what today's show is all about. So we're going to start out with, how to maybe start with your old photos. Nathan's going to take us down that process.
Yeah, I would bet most of us have, old photo books, old, Polaroids, old photos that are physical copies of photos, and we'd like to get them digital in kind of the digital age. If you want to make a calendar, put a picture on the wall, stuff like that. Luckily, with technology, there's several different ways to go about doing that now, and I've actually done several of these myself. So the one that I use most often is actually using your smartphone to do it, and there's specific apps. So you could just use your camera on your phone to do it. However, you're going to get glare if there's light in the room. You're going to have other issues by just using your camera. But they have dedicated smartphone apps that can help eliminate the glare and make some of the changes. Google Photo Scan is the one I've used the most. Shocker, it's run by Google, hence in the name, Google Photo Scan. But basically, it'll have you take a picture. It usually has you do 2 or 3 different picture photos of the same picture, and it combines them into one to eliminate, like I said, the glare, crop out the edges automatically, enhance the quality. It does a lot of cool stuff just from your smartphone, so you don't have to buy expensive equipment. And then you can usually upload it right to your phone or computer or to the website. It's pretty easy. It won't really work for slides or negatives. Taking a photo of a negative is not really going to work very well, but it's really, really handy. I think it's the most convenient. I think it works really well. I've been shocked by how good the quality is. I mean, our smartphone cameras have gotten so good that it does a really good job, taking a picture of old photos. Another option is using a flatbed or photo scanner. I know a lot of printers that people may have at their home already have a scanner built into them, and they might have a flatbed. You lift the top, put the picture in there, lay it down, and then scan it. Then you can upload it to like a USB stick if you plug that in there. If it's connected to your computer, you can have it go right on your computer. Truthfully, I tried this. I thought using my cell phone had better quality than my photo scanner, and I might have a crappier photo scanner, so people might have better photo scanners, but this is a great option. It's maybe a little quicker than having to take multiple pictures on your smartphone and having it fix it for you, so doing it on a photo scanner is nice. If you're going to do a lot of them, you can actually get a specialized specific photo scanner that just you can auto feed, so you can throw in a bunch of pictures and it'll feed them one by one and do a really good job, and then you can connect right to your cell phone. I know, Shane, I think you have some experience doing it that way.
Yeah, so when I was scanning some of my hard copy photos in, a couple of years ago I bought a scanner. It's an Epson receipt scanner, and it's just a really small portable, actually it's wireless, connects to your phone or your computer, but it also scans photos. And I thought, well, I'm going to try this photo scanning option that it's got, and it'll scan, like, you feed photos like one after the other, and it runs them through. So I could scan up to 20, 30 photos, and then I could go back, hit the save button, and it saves it to my phone. I'd go back and do 20, 30 more. I'd kind of do it in batches like that. And I spent a weekend and did, I don't know, 2-3 boxes of photos through that scanner. So the drawback is, that scanner is like $200. So if you want to invest in that, but I bought it as a receipt scanner. But secondary scanner, does photos as well.
Awesome. Yeah. And then there's some times that you're going to need a professional. One of those situations that I can think of is when we had a close loved one pass away, and they're older. So of course they don't have, if you're going to take pictures of them and put it on a poster board or something at their funeral or their wake, you're going to have to do something with those pictures. So we decided that we wanted to make basically like a poster out of them. So we took all of those pictures out of the albums, and then we just Walmart did it, and I know that there's some other places around the area that can do it as well. I think there's some places in Wilmer too. So that was really great. They have like Scan My Photos, there's Legacy Box, and like I said, Walmart is too. And it's helpful because it takes away that pressure of getting all that stuff organized. You can just have somebody else do it. It does come with the price, but again, everything that you need comes with the price. And then, it's perfect for large collections as well. And we ended up taking some of those pictures that we did scan and whatnot and gave them to the immediate family for pictures to hang in their house and that kind of stuff too. So basically the other tip too is when you're going through all of your photos, just pay attention to the duplicates. When back in the day, you always ended up paying extra for the duplicate, so you could you could keep a copy and then give a copy to whoever was in the picture with you, right? So pay attention to that because you don't want to spend a whole weekend doubling up on your pictures as well.
Right. And another thing too is, like if you're going to scan these in, take them out of the albums. Those old albums that got the plastic over the top. Peel them out of there because otherwise you're going to have that extra glare. Even though some of these apps, like Nathan said, do help with that, it's just best to eliminate that aspect.
Have you done anything with negatives?
I have. I used to, like, decades ago, I had a slide scanner. It would scan negatives. That's such a specialized thing anymore that you can buy slide scanners as well. Some of these specialized printers do include a slide scanner or a negative scanner in the printer itself. So yeah, you can do that. But I have had Walmart brought some negatives into there, and then they can scan them digitally as well. A lot of times they'll put them on a thumb drive for you. Back when we did it, I think they put it on a CD-ROM. So yeah, that can be done. But that kind of brings up storage. So where do you store these things? Well, there's kind of 3 ways to store your photos. One's going to be on your computer or your phone. One's going to be on a hard drive or a thumb drive, and a thumb drive is just a drive that you plug into your computer. And then the other one's going to be the cloud, and we talked about that, a few shows ago. But how you store them is going to depend on your tech expertise. How techie are you? Tech expertise, right? So if you're computer savvy and or you have a lot of storage on your phone or whatever, that's a great way to store them. Transferring those photos to a hard drive takes a little bit of techie skill, I guess, because for example, an Android phone, you can transfer photos easier from an Android phone to a hard drive than you can on some iPhones. The newer iPhones, the ones with USB-C, basically an iPhone 15 Pro or newer, they do have that option now where you can actually transfer from your phone right to a hard drive. Whereas the older iPhones, you had to go through some cabling or you had to go through a computer. So that takes a little bit more tech expertise. But the easiest way to store these things is going to be on the cloud. And using Apple iCloud or Amazon Photos or Google Photos, that's going to be your best bet. Basic storage is free, but there is a monthly fee to up your storage. And when I was working on this project last week for my daughter, I did have to actually jump to the next tier because I did use up my first tier's space, and I left my videos out. So just the photos took up that much space. Some of the tools for this, Nathan's going to talk about.
Yeah, obviously with the digital age and all the technology we have, there's some really nice tools to organize them. Once you got them, digitized, and then in, where, like I said, the storage location that Shane was talking about. So, and today we have AI, which can make a big difference in helping to organize. So, when you're talking about your phone and your cloud storage, if you have an Apple or an Android phone, likely you're going to be using iCloud if you're Apple, or Google Photos. If you're an Android, though, you can use either of those on the other platform. You don't have to, only use Google Photos if you have an Android phone, stuff like that. And a lot of these apps will now automatically scan your images and group faces together. I've actually really liked this feature. I've been using it for years as face recognition software. So I think it's been on Facebook. It's been on other programs for a while where you may have a picture of someone and the AI or the system will try to figure out, oh, there's a picture of Shane. And so it might, then you can group pictures of all pictures, pictures that include Shane. I use it for my kids and my family. So I have individual folders with my kids. So, my daughter Mabel, I have AI can detect all the pictures that she's in and automatically has a folder with all her pictures. And then I have one that's just called Kids that combines all three of my kids. So any picture that contains any of the three of them, it's all in a folder automatically. So it makes it really easy and nice to quickly find photos. It's not a perfect system. It's relying on kind of AI software to try to identify stuff, but it is nice. And not only faces, you can now identify and search by keywords like sunsets, the beach, birthday, dog, pet. You can even search keywords. Like sometimes I take screenshots of my phone for receipts, for other stuff. I can type in the word receipt and it'll try to find anything that looks like a receipt. It's pretty impressive. I know for a couple years ago, I was selling something online, and it was like a dresser, and I didn't have a picture of it. I was laying in my bed. I was too lazy, didn't want to get up, and I knew I had a picture somewhere. I went in there, typed in dresser. I had to look through a bunch, but it literally just showed me every picture in my gallery that has a dresser in it. It's pretty impressive what it can do. Mm-hmm. And then, like I said, you can do albums pretty quickly. You can even do photo collages. You can put music on there. And then if you make a sunset folder, any picture you take going forward with sunsets, it may automatically add it to that folder. So it's also not only backdating to the photos you already have, but it can future date to pictures you're still going to take. And this can be automatically synced with your phone and to the cloud. So I don't really have to do much manual work at all. My phone, Android phone, I have Google Photos on it. I take a picture. All this stuff kind of happens in the background. So I can go on a computer. I can go to Walmart, Walgreens, wherever. If I want to print a photo, I can pull up my Google Photos, and it has my albums. It automatically sorts them how I have it set up. It's pretty nice to use, pretty time saving, and it really doesn't take that much technical knowledge. I think most people can figure it out.
And how do you organize all these, right? So what I really like to do is use the year first, because then it just chronologically puts everything in order, and then identify what it is. Is it a family trip? Is it Walt Disney World? Are you taking family photos for 2026, some wedding, graduation? So just make sure you identify the folder or the album that you're using, and then rename the files before you upload them, because the upload name will probably be like image 6012, and you have no idea what that is. And so if you rename it Shane, today's date, and go from there, it's going to identify a little bit better. And then you can also add those caption notes. So the Google Photos and Apple Photos allow you to add additional descriptions, just like birthday party, surprise birthday party, 30th birthday party, Christmas 2025, that kind of stuff.
Exactly. And some other organizational tips, use tags or keywords. They're kind of like captions or notes, but they're keywords like Nathan was talking about: beach, sunsets, birthdays, things like that. Leverage face recognition. That's a huge thing. That's what I used. Actually, for my project, I did use Google Photos, and I just found all the pictures with my daughter Cheyenne in, and I was able to favorite those, move them into its own album, and then I could work on my slideshow from there. And then sort chronologically for scanned images, manually adjust the date taken in photo details. Now you're not going to be able to, you can rename the file, but once you upload it to Google Photos, that file name is kind of stuck. But you can adjust date taken there. So if you do know that as you're scanning it, do that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So to wrap up, setting up some of this stuff, there may be some initial work to getting your pictures, from physical to digital, and then starting to organize them. But once you kind of do the initial step, a lot of it will future date and take an effect any pictures you add going forward. It can be really nice. It can save you a ton of time and just be way more convenient when you're looking for photos or you want to print photos or whatever. And last week we talked about learning something new and starting a hobby for the new year, stuff like that. This is a great project in the winter months. We're all stuck inside for the most part, unless you're ice fishing and unless the weather's a little bit nicer. But it can be a good time to organize, some of your stuff in your house, organize pictures, try to upload some of them, and do some of that stuff. It's when we're stuck inside, we got to try to find as much as we can do to stay busy, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of being stuck inside, if you are available Wednesday, January 28th, we have a event for you. So come on out to Meeker Energy. We're right by Sure Stay Hotel, and go to the Dreaming of Streaming. It'll be our first one for 2026. It's from 5:30 to 6:30. So come on in. We look forward to seeing you. And then if you have any questions about today or anything in general, give us a call at 693-3231 or learn about us at vibrantbroadband.com. Catch the replay on Facebook and YouTube channel. Search Vibrant Broadband. And listen live every Wednesday on KLFD at 10:30.
That's right. Well, thank you, Jeff, for having us.
You're welcome.
Thank you, audience, for listening. My name is Shane.
I'm Jane.
And I'm Nathan.
Tune in next week for another Vibrant You Live.
Brilliant speed with vibrant service. Vibrant broadband internet. Vibrant broadband internet.